Oh, going back at this live vibe again. Make sure we get it straight this time. This one, basically just speaking to, like what is God? What is our existence? What we, you know, just what's going on generally, which just, and fair warning, this video may get very deep in the essence of where, you know, I may share this reality. And I say may, the reality of the fact that our existence is just basically God being bored with itself. You know, as much as we like to think of like, oh, I'm ascending, there's this, you know, uh, this thing you're getting to, or, you're doing this in order to do that, like all that stuff. It's just we are a God that got bored with itself in essence. Imagine being by yourself, you know, forever and ever. And I done brung up this aspect before, but just imagine being by yourself like forever and ever. Like you're gonna create some type of situation to get out of that boredom. And when you're first starting off, it's trial and error. In order, as above, so below. Just like in life, where you got to go through a mistake, and you gotta like forgive yourself for going through your mistake, and then you grow from it. Same thing with the creation process. Like we done been through, different ways of creating. We done had everything all the same, all perfect. Where everything was perfect, every being looked the same, like everything was the same, and that's like the earliest stages, when I'm talking about early stages, realize too that source, our existence, it never began and it won't ever end. It's a never ending story. And I know one of the reasons why a lot of people don't talk about this, for one, because it is it's very difficult to intellectualize and conceptualize, you know, infinity, point blank period. To try to put that into an intellectual format is very difficult, and also people don't want to discourage people, you know, in which I mean teachers only could discourage a person. Like if you find out like, all right, my existence is just for me to exist, but it could be depressing. But then I see the vibe of like, well, what else is there to do? You know what I'm saying? Because you could sit around back, well, oh, if I'm just God bored, then I'm gonna just sit around and just not do anything, in which you could, you know what I'm saying? But it just seems, for me myself personally, I just see it as fun to play the game. Like I would rather play the game than to, you know, sit around on some, oh, well, I just give up because I'm just God bored with everything. You know what I'm saying? And which I'm share some of these basically like somewhat channel thoughts of source and essence or just the wholeness. But that's the thing. We are a source interfacing with itself. As a matter of fact, let me check y'all out. I see I got some happy now. Whoa, Riggs 103. I see you. Blessings, bro. Bless, man. Good to see my OP people. You know what I'm saying, with the vibes. But you know, the whole story with us being God. You know what I'm saying? Like, how could you, make this interesting? If I'm God, I'm by myself, and then again, everything's safe, and we start from the earlier stages, early. So everything is perfect. We all walking the same, talking the same. You know, all flowers. Say for instance, if a flower exists, they all smell the same. If experience, like all the things we experience, in a perfect world would all feel the same. It's all one. All we know is just one perfect experience. You know what I'm saying? So cool. But that one perfect experience, it's just after so long, you only could evolve so far, because I mean it's just that one perfection, like nothing coming into, to challenge you, you know to allow for you to learn from something. It's just like everything perfect. So what comes in, that Lucifer aspect, that aspect of somebody questioning that perfection, questioning, why things are so like why do we have things like this? And again, this is all, again, an aspect of source, like it's no separate being. And when you think about it, to play a game with yourself, like what we do, imagination, like I create like somebody that's evil, like I could create like the X-Men Legion. I could create, oh, this is frequency X, and that's when I'm in evil mode. When universal frequencies is in evil mode, it's called universal X. You know what I'm saying? And universal X goes around spreading, sadness and this and that. You know what I'm saying? Just in order to, you know, how can I say, to have that other aspect. Because again, without one side of the story, without one side of polarity, it wouldn't be another. So again, back to that perfection. If everything perfect, then there is no differences. There is no learning going on, because everything is the same. So with, why one would ask, because getting to the point, I know I'm kind of dwelling in that area for a long time, but point being is like when we get to the point of asking why they gotta be, you know, uh, messed up stuff in the world, why God, you know, like say for instance, why people gotta die, why people gotta suffer, why this and that, you know what I'm saying? You're thinking about it from a human aspect, you know what I'm saying? You're not thinking of it as far as like, I am God and I gotta keep this thing going in the best way possible while maintaining my sanity. 'Cause that's another thing, like being able to create a certain type of balance while also being sane. Because basically, you are the entirety of yourself dealing with yourself. Just like how we call crazy people crazy for talking to themselves. Well, I mean, in essence, that's what God is. God is crazy too, because we talking to each other. We, the aspect of God. So that's what's going on right here. And I see some big words. Or let's see any questions. Yes, life is a dream. Life is God's dream. That's the whole situation. As though our people are the original people. I mean, when you say original people, that's more so like to this earthly plane. Yes, uh just a melanated being in general, is indigenous to, or just let's just say one of the eldest forms of of creation, in the essence of like, well, a melanated person is a personification of the primordial, dark feminine energy, in essence. You know what I'm saying? That's why, in essence, melanated people embody more of a feminine vibe, more of a yin vibe, because it comes from that ancient yin energy. But I mean, if you want to call it original peoples, and for me, I don't dwell into the human stuff, because when you looking for that identity of, yeah, I'm the original person, I'm this, of course that comes with the territory, but then you taking yourself out of your higher sovereignty of being a vibrational being, that's something way greater than a black person. You know what I'm saying? Just to be real about it. You know? Or Aborigines, yes, all Aborigine, and that's say for instance, as above, so below. That's what a melanated person personifies. Is just that primordial dark energy. You know what I'm saying? That potential. And also, like, again, that energy that manifests things. That's why the government is always trying to program, for sure oppress melanated people, but also program melanated people minds, because a melanated person is able to manifest at you know on a higher level. And as I say that's not to say that uh, this person is better than that person, or we all different, just like different parts of the body, got different air. A red blood cell may be able to carry more oxygen than another part of the body. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not no, does a red blood is a red blood cell better than a mitochondria, or better than a hair follicle, just because it does something different. No, it's just doing different things. That's what people need to really, like, if you really want to get to the gist of like what's going on and how source operate, or it's the as above so below aspect. What's going on inside of you, what's going on outside of you, and vice. Matter of fact, like another example, matter of fact, blessings, y'all. Golden Child, Straight Panther. Shout out to PK for the what they call it, for the super chat. I greatly appreciate that. Greatly appreciate it. But oh yeah, speaking from my, so this is my journal. I just kind of, and that's something I should suggest. When you want to channel higher self, channel source. You know, meditate. Get that clear mind, and then just sit down and write whatever comes to mind. But since I've been dealing with the high vibes, I've been channeling the vibes from Earth. I mean, from Earth, from source, from God, but which you know and we say God and source for lack of a better word. You know what I'm saying? It's the unnameable everything. You know what I'm saying? But here we go. Life is beautiful and fucked up at the same time. If you feel God is fucked up for not saving the whole world in a manner that fits the human moral, you know, if you feel that, again, if you feel that God is fucked up for not saving the whole world in a manner that fits the human moralistic code, then you should look at yourself as fucked, because you're not going out of your way saving the whole world either. You know what I'm saying? Like, how we look at like God, like as above, so below. Is it capable for us to just make everything perfect and everybody feel good? I mean, it may be a possibility, but then it would stop the growth process. It would stop the evolution process. You know what I'm saying? It would take us backwards in our growth, in the essence. But again, when we look at, oh man, that's fucked up. God, let this happen. Let this happen. Look at you in your everyday life. Do you save everybody every time, all day, every day? You know what I'm saying? Oh, same thing with God. Like and two is back to the aspect where it has to, and all right, that's another harsh truth for people to realize. Like, where, of course, things are gonna get better for the majority of us. Quote unquote better, quote unquote, but it's still gonna have some form of polarity, existing. Like, it's still gonna have the dual natures. It's just we're coming to a place of understanding how that works. You know what I'm saying? And understanding, like, all right, we all one, and we got one coin got these two poles on it. The polar opposites, but it all, it what's exist bring things together. Again, reason why you love the way a flower smells, or reason why a flower smell good is because shit exists. Reason why shit smells stink, and could exist on because something that smells good exists. You know, reason why freedom feels so good, like, oh, free, because you didn't experience sitting down in a classroom or in a jailhouse or in slavery. You know what I'm saying? And we'd be like, oh man, that's bad, jail or this and that. Just like you could say, oh, it's bad that a diamond got to go through pressure. But it is what it is. That diamond goes through that pressure, in order to be beautiful. You know what I'm saying? It takes that. you know and again, it's just the situation. uh, what why humans, or why as a human you struggle with understanding, spirituality on a true scale, is because of, again, in the humanity of it, you thinking from a human process. Like putting the situation, no names or nothing, this person to know who they are, whatever, whatever. But I spoke to a person, in which is Mercury retrograde, so I saw my fault and actually saying like, hey, like I might actually like letting the person know that I was gonna unfollow him for, because it was posting a lot of just fear mongering. This black person got shot, that black person got shot, and I felt like it was a person that, was far enough on their spiritual growth to possibly know like, hey man, you should know that, that's fear mongering, like they trolling you, like pay attention to your inner universe. Like we manifest things with our thoughts. What you focus on grows. So, but unfortunately, because of Mercury retrograde, I jumped the gun on even like I shouldn't have sent that message, and then, but that person took it the wrong way and saw me as because that's another thing with a lot of, again, because a person is being a black human, they're being a human being and they're being a black person, so they don't see that God level of existence. All they see is a brother got shot, and why you not standing up? You sounding like one of those namaste, let's all give a hug type of people, and let's just sweep it under the rug. It's like, not getting the bigger situation, you know what I'm saying? And you start to see like where it is, like kindergarten on up, you know what I'm saying? There's different levels to our growth. And though with me saying that though, is rightfully so. Like everybody is on a certain path, on a certain part of their growth. We're all uniquely different. Back to everything not being perfect, uniquely different for a reason, you know what I'm saying? Each part of your body is uniquely different for a reason, but yet it all, each thing taking care of its purpose makes the whole function properly, you know what I'm saying? But the whole function properly also because none of our body parts has an ego. You know what I'm saying? Think about if your chakras had an ego. Like if your chakra like solar plexus, like fuck that, man. The the heart chakra and the other chakra shining too much. I gotta shine brighter than them. You know. Or what if, the the red blood cells, felt like, man, what I do is extremely important to the body, and this other part of the body ain't really doing what I like, so I'm not even gonna flow that to that part of the body. You know what I'm saying? Think about if the blood chose to have an ego. You know, that's what's going on with this whole body. We are a part of a body. Like humans are like the immune system, to this body of earth, transferring information, transferring, energies, cleaning up certain parts, you know what I'm saying? Just like a person, you know, certain people keep certain areas clean, you know what I'm saying? Just like a immune system, like certain areas of your body is clean due to your immune system. Same situation. I'm about to check out the vibes. Cause we're doing live videos, I want to make sure I'm actually, expressing something, but at the same time, I do want to interact and answer questions. Yo, God is the balance. Yes, yes. Three-eyed angels. That's the whole situation. Like the subconscious, like what separation you see, whatever coming together you see, whatever you feel good, bad, with like whatever going on in your inner universe, it projects outside of you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why, like, say for instance, with me being a vibe of universal frequencies, vibing like that aspect of God. Like after my DMT trips, I basically, and let me say that because a lot of people might not know that about the way I carry myself. Like I don't carry myself like, of course, I'm in the melanated bodysuit, but I carry myself as an extension of source. Like, and I do it in a manner where, of course, I balance. I'm just getting to that part though, because at one time I was carrying myself in that source, but like in a high vibrational manner that was like disconnected from the body. Now I'm realizing to bring that source like energy into the body and sustain it and balance it out. But like I carry myself as if I was source. I don't look to the black, the white, this situation. Like that's why a lot of my videos could make a black person mad or a white person mad equally. You know what I'm saying? Like or any person that resonates with their ego or a certain label. Like I got videos that can make a vegan mad. I got videos that can make a meat eater mad. Because again, I'm sore. I'm source. Source could make everything mad. Because if you hold an identity or position, of course you could get mad at source. You know. The fifth dimension where polarities don't exist. Well, I know of polarities not affecting us once we get to a certain stage of things, but there's still like, energies that are different in essence, like say for instance, uh, the beings that feed on you, like with sleep paralysis, those are dimensional, five dimensional. Those are beings that are of a higher dimensional existence, and yet they're doing something that a human being could quote unquote call bad, you know. But which at the same time, on them fifth dimensions, there are light beings too. You know what I'm saying? So the polarities exist past this dimension. It's just the ignorance of us, falling victim to letting them, throw us off on our, on our journey, on our growth, on our expansion. We're letting those polarities have the illusion of, it's not a whole, it's not a part of the whole coin. The fifth dimension, in essence, is just realizing that those polarities are one coin, you know, and no longer the insanity of like, combating. There's blessings to everybody. Spirit Queen TV blessings. Zubi LM blessings. Matter of fact, shout out to the international audience as well as the matter of fact the international family, not audience, the international family. Matter of fact, as you're doing these videos, balance like I'm delivering the information, and also it's like like a job in essence. So it's like the audience, like no man, that's fam, that's family, man. Trust us, blessings. You finding your purpose. So again, all right. So I got a little thing that speaks to that too. What I wrote down, like with us finding our purpose. But one searches for a connection with something that is inside themselves and everywhere. You know, we are always God. Like that's what Zen always clown at people. Like go searching, for enlightenment, or you go searching for this connection. Like you are the connection at all times. Just you being, conscious in your being, is being connected, or like being connected to your purpose. So in all honesty, just being your true authentic self. You're meditating, clearing out all of the gunk from the lower vibes of the ego, because the ego has its healthy place, all that old vibes, all of us done been through this because it's a growth, what was like ego death, like kill the ego, and then you realize, nah, it's not killing the ego, you're uh you're suppressing the ego, but again, you're clearing the mind with the meditation, connecting with the heart. So once you connect with your heart, you know you just go with the flow of your intuition, follow your heart, and you're gonna take care of your soul purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like by doing because your heart is basically your true inner self, your true soul self. So in that instance, or in that essence, you're gonna be, you know, uh, taking care of your soul purpose. By being your authentic self is taking care of your soul purpose, because your soul purpose is to be your authentic self. Like we think about like, oh yeah, I gotta feed 1,000 people, or I gotta do this for the world. I gotta do that. The only thing you gotta do for the world is grow spiritually. Like that's what you gotta do for me. You wanna save, quote unquote. You wanna save the world. Save yourself. You know what I'm saying? Do what you do. What makes you feel happy. Do what you love. Because again, that's why we each have these unique differences, because once we tap into doing what we uniquely love, we're going to create something uniquely different from the other that's going to allow for us to grow. You know what I'm saying? Because if again, with the differences in our uniqueness, if we all were the same, like if everybody thought like the way universal frequencies thought, then it wouldn't be no reason for us to communicate. Matter of fact, with that situation, why even communicate? We all on the same page. You know, like so that would take away communication. And which I gotta think about this vibe Dan Winters brought up about telepathy, and the reptilians had a very very strong telepathy, but and which you think is ironic, or it seemed ironic, was like them having strong telepathy would, it basically took away their compassion. I'm like, well, how could strong telepathy take away compassion? And with that spoke to me, like sometimes I'm kind of like cold towards like say for instance when people be like, I miss you, or like, oh man, I miss you, I ain't seen you. Like sometimes I'm kind of cold towards that, but more so in a vibe of like I feel connected on a telepathic level with you know everything at all times. So it's like, how could I miss somebody if I'm always connected with them? But I see how that strong telepathic connection could also create a lack of compassion, because again, without the opposite, uh, if I'm always connected, then I'm not allowed to miss you. You know what I'm saying? Then that compassion is like, so you start to see, well, again, where these dual situations, you know, uh, you know, one creates the other. One cannot exist without the other. You know what I'm saying? So the separation, in essence, creates the compassion. Because if we was all one, or just it's like it's just all one. You know what I'm saying? Like it's no experience there. In essence. But yeah, finding your purpose is just basically, uh, let me make sure. Yeah, finding your purpose is basically just following your heart. Getting to a place where you're operating, not not following your brain, or following your body, but being guided by your spirit, by your heart. You know, and it's a balance of the mind, body, and soul. So you following the soul, following that heart spot, and balancing it out with mind and body, and you go from there. Yeah, I mean that the meditation, all those things being hard, that's the whole vibe of like like the spiritual, balancing things out is a difficult thing. Like how I always talk about, like it's real easy for somebody to just be all the way quote unquote evil, or it's easier for somebody to be all the way quote unquote good, but it's very difficult to balance those things out. Same thing with the water and the sun. I always bring up, it's real easy for the sun to just over scorch us if it wanted to, or it'd be real easy for the sun to just be like, man, I'm going about my business. But it takes a certain type of strength to balance, to have a balance vibration. Same thing with water. It could easily over flood things. It could easily, just deplete and fall back. And we see with situations, that's what a spiritual growth is in the balance. Because I could easily, and not to knock nobody, but I could easily just be overly spiritual and just, because that's a taught thing, to where you gotta be nice to be spiritual. No, you just gotta be authentic and be your true self. That's being spiritual. But say for instance, I could easily just say, well, I'm gonna just be like overly meditate and just go way on this end with with the central vibe, or I could be like, oh, I'm gonna just go on the vibe of just not giving a fuck at all, like fuck it all, just But it takes that balance to have that, that not say not giving a fuck vibe, but that like just going with the flow vibe and mixing it with making sure I do things, a certain spiritual level and balancing that out, you know. But yeah, and things are shifting very rapidly. Ever done a truth spell? No, I haven't done a truth spell, but I think about like how I made a video about like wearing like color magic. Like a truth spell would be like wearing eucalyptus and lemon oil and having on like blue clothing, and going around somebody who you may be trying to get the truth out of or some of that nature, because the blue color is going to provoke the throat chakra to be balanced and expressing, so may provoke truthful vibes. And then eucalyptus and lemon uh, promotes like people being truthful and feeling at ease around you. It's an actual science to that one. But definitely, yeah, the whole situation, God is, it's everything. So think about that. Like, how could you be everything and still stay sane? All right, I'm gonna have to, you know, fractalize my energy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm the whole, but I'm gonna have to, uh, almost like somebody like with the masculine, feminine aspect. Like, all right, we gotta have some kids. We gotta, we bored. We gotta create some extensions of, of ourselves in that essence. You know. That's the whole vibe. It's like we're just we're just vibing in existence. So like when we go, and that's where getting the deeper answer to what's really going on, could be damaging for some people, or how some people go crazy. Because when you find out like that you're just God playing with yourself, and that all this is a game, you know, that could go all kind of ways for some people. You know what I'm saying? And which the only reason why I'm being able to express it now is because, you know, because let's just say some parts of my inner being is allowing me to. Because every now and then I get choked up, or like something stops me from saying it on that level, that raw. But that's what it is. It's time for us. As a matter of fact, we're moving. So just like certain, people was explaining, like, the future of where we headed, I'm being asked to get back to that vibe of like speaking on the vibes of like where we headed, like, and on that real, on a level that's far past our human, way of intellectualizing things. Because again, that's my purpose. My purpose is to be that aqua person. That's another thing too. Your purpose may be in a vibe where you might feel like, damn, like, I'm just by myself out here with it. But that, I mean, in essence, that's the point. Like, whatever your sole purpose is, in essence, in most cases, is gonna be something that you is unique to you. You know, we all have different experiences on all levels to create a uniqueness within our vibration. Like being born under Asian parents, or one Asian parent, one African parent, one white, one black parent. Or being born in Australia, being born in Alaska, being abused as a kid, not being abused. Like all these different experiences gives us different perceptions and outlooks, and with different perceptions and outlooks, we're allowed to bounce. Like, well, I'm like, I think that uh, I'm trying to think of something. I think that all people should vote for this situation. Let's just say I'm just throwing anything out. And then, the uniqueness of somebody else, well, hey, though, universal, look at this aspect and that aspect. Because, through my upbringing or through my experience, I seen this about voting for that. And I'd be like, oh, you're right. That is an aspect that I didn't see because of my perception and the way, so that's how we build off each other from having different experiences. That's the whole point of that situation. We are nothing with amnesia, thinking with something. Wait, I don't, I, I can't really comprehend what you. We are nothing with amnesia, thinking we something. I kind of get you, but I have to let that soak in. Yes, but the meditation vibes, it's definitely. Oh, let me check my. All right, but yeah, it's again, it's just God playing with itself. So another thing, you and I'm speaking from this. Write my journal. You try being the hero, the villain, and the victim at the same time, and God is a whole. Oh, you try being the. I'm sorry, y'all, because I just writing these things out. You try being the hero, the villain, the victim, and God as a whole, all while keeping your sanity. You know, like that's another thing. A lot of us from a human aspect, you're like, God, don't do this, God, don't do that. You know, but again, though, from that aspect, you're not seeing nothing. So I digress. Cause I about to say, you asking God for these things, but are you sharing on that type of level? Is it capable for you to, you know, help every single body? You know what I'm saying? On that type of level. Then also like the paradox of the name universe. Matter of fact, shout out to Seven Bomar with he brung up this about like the uni stands for togetherness, but then the verse is like verses like against each other, so it's like together against each other. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the universe and that's the actuality of the situation. That's the part that's hard for the human mind to grasp. Like, so it has to be suffering and all this. Well, again, that's why you gotta understand that it's a game. If you understand and overstand that it's a game that you know, that we're just playing with ourselves in essence. You won't see a person as dying. Like how could a drop of water from the lake die? You know what I'm saying? If it's still connected with the lake. If it's still right there by the lake, did that drop of water die? Or, you know, it's like nothing, nothing is separate on that mountain. And having that illusion, of being in that human vibe. It just takes away that vibe of the whole. And I'm sorry, I kind of went on a tangent and almost lost my own self, but uh again, 'cause that's another thing with sharing this information. Like I have to be grounded. Like matter of fact, I got my black obsidian and my shungite. You know, like you definitely have to be grounded with expanding on these situations. 'Cause that's another thing too. All right, so reason why we exist in the physical nature because it's source grounding itself, like that feminine, that eldest nature, that primordial feminine vibe. Of just the feminine vibe. Like nothing is logical. Like everything is everywhere chaotic. And with that chaos, in essence, you won't really get nothing, done in essence. Just chaos all the time, just going everywhere, doing what we want to, just bloom, just chaos. So the physical nature was created in essence to ground, to ground that chaos and balance things out. So the reason why we got a physical nature again is to bring about a balance because everything was just like primordial, like everywhere, like being a pop up right here and pop up over there, and just everything was everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like just no structure. That's where the structure, the Saturn and the 666 carbon body, like all that come from. The structure, and also too like the personification of the crucifixion. Malkut, the bottom sephiroth on the tree of life, or the root chakra, you know, or the hex. The hex is six. The hex is sex or six. When you have sex, you make six. You know, and what I mean by having sex makes six, when you have sex, you create another 666 carbon bodysuit, you know what I'm saying? Which is locking another, you know, and it don't not nothing good or bad about it, but you know, because when I say it, it's gonna take the bad connotation, but it's no, but you know, that 666 bodysuit locking another vibration, you know, into a prison or a prism, you know, prism of light, you know, locked into a prism or a prison, you know, that light, you know, trapped in our bodies, you know what I'm saying? So that's the whole, you know, the whole vibe. But in order to for things, you know, to expand again on a physical level, you know, to have some type of physical existence, you know, we gotta, you know, ground that chaos. You know, everything can't just be like, you know what I'm saying? Or which it could be, but we dealt with that. You know, we saw how just chaos could be. And again, with something being just on one certain level, there lacks evolution. That's where you get the story of Atlantis and Lemuria, about Atlantis, like the beings, you know, were, you know, more feminine, and you know, they were operating out of just the high chakras, but they could only evolve so far. You know, they had to interact with some beings that were operating from the lower chakras, and that's just again a personification of just God as a whole, just having an interface with the lower vibration of itself. You know, like where, you know, Source tried to be like, all right, I'm gonna just be on the high vibe and just stay, but then as it stayed on the high vibe, it realized like, oh damn, things are getting ugly in this lower vibration of myself, and I exist on all levels, so I do have to deal with that ugly part of myself. But damn, I let it get too ugly, you know. So it's just like all that, you know what I'm saying? And here it is, that story is playing out in our existence and what we taking care of. We are a manifestation or personification of what's going on with God as a whole, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the whole situation. But, just getting to some of the questions, checking out any advice on how to start meditating. Go check out my video. I don't know if I have a playlist, if it's on the playlist, but and then at this point, when you just type in universal frequencies and whatever subject matter you're looking for, it should pop up because I tag a lot of my videos, so it should pop up. But like I got my meditation video. Oh wait, hold on. Got my video on meditation that goes through, you know, that whole vibe. Definitely. On the Jesus vibe, oh, you must not caught none of my old videos, you know. The letter J didn't exist. Like Jesus is something that Constantine created. I repeat, the Constantine, all right, so this just point blank period. Constantine was basically mad because he couldn't get into the mystery schools. You know, he couldn't learn the true knowledge, the real knowledge. So and since he was a ruler of a certain place, like, well, fuck that, fuck the mystery schools. I'm about to take they fucking knowledge and twist it around and create my own shit. So, you know, Constantine decided to have two Nicene councils where they basically revised the Bible and, you know, created this figure and of you know, the Christ energy always did exist, like, you know, as far as just the Christ energy, but somebody named Jesus was created by, you know, Constantine, and then later, you know, even more fabricated when, you know, I forgot who came around, and, you know, Caesar Borgia, the nephew of one of the King Henry or one of them, sat down and was like the model for the painting of Jesus, you know what I'm saying? So when the picture of Jesus as the white hippie, you know, that's Caesar Borgia, you know what I'm saying? Go look that up. But nah, that Jesus shit is just so to the point where now it's time to get back on smashing that little situation, because, you know, at first I thought, you know, I was being like just overzealous, but I be seeing how much Source is asking for that shit to get smashed, like, because it's just messing up the whole process for the spiritual growth, because people holding on to this fake aspect of an energy, you know, all behind some lies. And we're in the Aquarius age. It's about information, and it's about truthful information. And the truth is, the letter J didn't exist. And then you go to Yeshua, and I just did a video about that with Jesus in the number 8, whereas Yeshua and Yeshu, Shu was the god of air, in between Noob and Jeb, or Newt and Jeb, and air, Shu, you know, oxygen. And when oxygen atomic number is 8, and when you break down the gematria of even though it's in the form of the word Jesus, it still breaks down to 8. But again, the letter J didn't even exist in the Greek, in Greek words. So, but yeah, the Christ energy, again, that whole story is the Kundalini energy. You know what I'm saying? You have 33 spinal cord, the disc in the spine, and that's why the Masons got 33 degrees, but, Christ was crucified at the age of 33, because that Christ energy, when you breathe in, and it goes up the spine, up those columns, and it gets to the 33rd column, the Iron Gala, where the masculine and feminine energies cross it. You know what I'm saying? The crucifixion, back to the story where, of Christ or Jesus on the cross, was like, well, one person on side of him, like where they had the two people on side of him on the cross, and one was negative and one was positive. One was like, if you Christ, then why don't you save us? That was the negative voice, and then the other one was like, man, get that man a break, the positive voice, or the positive energy, yin and yang, like, that's all that is a story of, but again, Constantine and other people, Knights Templar, all that little vibe, of creating these fake stories to fake the masses out, to have y'all worshiping all kind of fake shit, point blank period. So while these energies that are coming up, awakening people for a change, they did that so a lot of people could still be like not knowing what's going on in these times, and that's why a lot of us with these YouTube channels, or just a lot of us that feel the vibe of wanting to express this knowledge and these truths, reason why we coming out with it, because that's part of our, part of the purpose, and just our energies, because my job is not to save anybody. My job is to spiritually grow, like learn about my inner universe, and continuously grow my inner universe, and learn about, like certain things that's in my outer universe is coming to me or exist because of what's going on inside of me. So I'm understanding and overstanding my inner universe, and a byproduct of that is me, or say for instance, a byproduct of that is me realizing how much I love knowledge and sharing it. So by loving to share knowledge, of course, then it trickles into, helping others by sharing the knowledge. But my aim is not like I have to save everybody. I have to share, and of course, at one point in all our growth, it's a growth. So at one point in time, you're gonna feel like it's more of an obligation, and that's also tied to the fact that dealing with this fake, some of this spiritual knowledge, again, is a chess game. Some of the spiritual knowledge was kind of put out here to throw you off. So, you know, man, everybody is that's another thing with that agent vibe, man. Anybody could be an agent at any time. I probably have a video that would seem like I was being an agent to somebody on their group, like that agent vibe, where we just, that term gets thrown out too loose. That's why I did that last video, because I'm like, too, if anything does seem like an agent to you, then guess what? The inner universe reflects outside of you. So if you seeing an agent outside of you, then there's an agent that exists inside of you. So that's another thing too with that vibe. It's like agent, that person, that person, agent, like, and then two, you don't realize that you taking your awareness outside of growing, and it's somewhat of a fear. Again, it's a thin line between awareness and fear. It's like, oh, that person, the agent, gotta watch out for him. And of course, but again, And I'm speaking from, that's from my experience, because I don't watch that Brethren videos, and it's so much true sauce leaking that fuck my human self that my soul resonate with. So if Mr. Seven is an agent, then then oh man. But to each his own. I'm not trying to clown you, my brethren, which I ain't even going, try to put you on blast like that. But because it's not about that either. I'm not trying to clown nobody in that essence, but just from my experience and just sharing. Black sin brings up alliances that sometimes overwhelm. Yeah, that Black Obsidian definitely brings out that the shadow self. I'm just looking. Matter of fact, any advice and tips on channeling source and spirit guides? Channeling source and spirit guides. I mean, everything. That's another thing. Everything is as simple as us, but like knowing, well, believing, and then turning into knowing that that we're connected at all times with every aspect of ourselves. Like all you really have to do is just like act like higher self. I want to know about this right now. Higher self, what should I do next? You know, higher self, why do I keep falling victim to this? You know, like we're connecting with the source or spirit guides within yourself. First and foremost, you meditating to clear your mind, because reason why the meditation is important. Just say you go to sit down right now, you know then all kind of thoughts be popping up into your brain, and you could take that any kind of thought as something that's coming from your higher self when it's really not. You know what I'm saying? Or you another aspect of it is you got all these thoughts coming through, and you're not able to say for instance you realize that there's something that you shouldn't take and go with you, but at the same time you can't get your higher self voice, because again you got too much noise going on. So to tap into the spirit guides on that level is to clear the mind and stuff first and foremost. Yeah, Jesus Christ stuff. It's time for us to be truthful. Again, just true knowledge of everything. We're being asked to not beat around the bush about anything. Like it's time to be straight up. And that's the thing too. What I had to realize though, like where nothing is wrong with like so say for instance, if the truth harms somebody, then that's just their fault. They just need to get out of the lie they live in. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not my fault. And if somebody gets crushed by the truth, then rightfully so. It is what it is. And that's the thing. Yeah, the Bible is filled with divine knowledge, of course. But my thing is too, I'm like this. Of course, I deal with the Bible to help people who deal with it or learn how to learn that it's more to get outside of the Bible, if anything. But like I'm just one of them people where if I find out that somebody played around with some shit, like if you give me a book and tell me so and such played around with it, changed the information around, you know, the knowledge is, they got deeper meaning in it, but it's been played with, and then you tell me though, and then at the same time you say, yeah, but the Bible was written based on these books right here, you know, then fuck the Bible. I'm going with where the Bible gets its information from. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I want to know. That's what I want to deal with. Like, it becomes insanity, and then you sit in a classroom where teachers again tell you to, state your source. Go to the source, and what the source is. The source is as far as back is, how can I say, a reference you could get. source is not like, say for instance, like a perfect example of this is like when we would try to make that shortcut to Wikipedia. It's like that's not the source. Where did Wikipedia get that information from? You know what I'm saying? And now, of course, there's a balance of the situation where, sometimes we may not have to go all the way back to the source for all information if our intuition is strong, where we come across some information that is not straight from the source, but our inner source tells us, hey, this part of this information is real and it's true, you should deal with it. Then of course, but again, you know what I'm saying, like you want to go back to the eldest part of information. You don't deal with something that just comes from right around the corner. It's like, you don't necessarily escape reincarnation, but if you're talking about, getting out of it on the earthly level, is just realizing that program your subconscious to know that you are a soul on a human experience. Program your subconscious to not be scared of death. Like, and I speak to that on a bunch of different videos. I can't go fully in depth into that, but that's the whole vibe of it. Because once you, matter of fact, that's why everything is about, expanding your memory and, opening up your pineal gland on a certain level where, you know, you become so lucid and vivid in your non-physical aspect to where when you do transition, that you'd be on some picked up right where I left off type of vibe, so you could be consciously aware to know like, all right, I could choose to go back to this earthly plane, or I could, continue to ascend and expand on a whole another level. It's up to you. Yep, that moon landing was staged. As above, so below. You know, how in the hell? Not only it doesn't make sense, you just like with us, as above, so below in our spiritual path. Like we gotta go into the deep depths of ourselves. Like to hell, we're trying to go to the moon if you ain't even fully discovering the place where you at. Like they ain't even been into the full depths of the oceans yet, let alone trying to go to the moon. Like that's another thing. As above, so below. They ain't even went to the depths of the inner earth, but yet trying to go to the moon. Or claim they been to the moon. Like the whole vibe, as above, so below, like the Anunnaki, like traveling, like going across the cosmos, going outside yourself for things that's inside of you. Again, it's a balance because, you know, again, certain things got to happen for us to have a, physical existence. Yeah, blessings, y'all. And I'm sorry, y'all, for being so slow with I'm far back on reading some of these questions, and I'm just trying to, you know. Now I don't want to fan too far for the thought too of just, again, we got oh wait. I don't know what's going on with this. Anyway, we are, basically, God experiencing it itself, So, and that's the thing, like, where everybody like, oh man, I wish things were like this, I wish things were like that, but, and this is a part of the information where it's not in the book. This was the uniqueness of my being, have a knowingness. Like, I know for a fact that, the reason why we living the way we are living right now, because we done tried all kind of other aspects, It's just like with vote, like with politics in essence, like, well, There's not gonna be a law that pleases every single individual. It's not gonna be a certain, thing that just, makes everybody feel bad, or makes everybody feel good, or makes like it's gonna be different aspect. You know what I'm saying? Like it's, and I kind of lost where I was going with that tangent, but it just takes a difference. But yeah, it's like again, it's just all one big story for Source to just, just think about existing like a never-ending story, like literally, like existing forever for a long ass time. You gotta fill in the space with something. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's what our existence is about. And again, it's also like also too about the, how I say, the funny part to enlightenment, or trying to find God like on some external level. Like God is within you, and you know from a physical aspect, like so say for instance, like us interfacing with God, or like being the universe, you know observing itself. It's like it's almost like dissecting yourself, and it's like the snake, chasing its tail, but basically like how it's chasing the tail, but eventually it gets to a point where the head goes so far. So say if I start eating my body, start from the feet, now I'm gonna get to a point where I won't be able to eat the back of my head and then eat my teeth, like eat what's eating me, you know what I'm saying? Like, so point being, like, with God, like when we try to, like as a human, like I gotta get to God, or like I gotta ascend, like the one can exist at the same time as the other. That's why like with the Jacob's ladder, like where Jacob kind of in essence died, like when he saw God, like the only way to see God is like dying, you know what I'm saying? That's what that kind of speaks to. Matter of fact, and speaking to Bible stories, well, that one right there almost straight up telling, Jacob's ladder, climbing up a ladder up the spine, and he went to a place called pineal, or pine, basically like pineal, you know what I'm saying? Like the pineal gland, like, damn near in plain sight with some of the stuff from the Bible, you know. But again, it's like that snake chasing its tail, or like again, like where Jacob, like you can't exist in your physical being at the same time as being completely back one with source, like, you know, and vice versa, like our vessels couldn't handle, source, and source couldn't handle being in the, in the physical form on this level, because it's so, expansive, so big. But let me just finish, about to soon close up, and then towards the end I'm gonna look at some of the questions, see if I could go through some of the questions. Nobody wants to, yeah, I just speaking on, nobody wants to speak on this aspect because it's difficult to admit that your whole existence is no different from a child being bored. You have like all that fight for our rights, the family, the solution process, all this stuff is just, it's just stuff for us to do to fill in the space to exist. And again, it's not nothing. And reason why I'm explaining this, because I'm being that dark side of God to, to expand on that thought, because that do exist. As much as we would like to ignore the fact, because something, like those some things that's creeping in our subconscious that we all realize, but we don't talk about, and that's another reason why. So, where awkward moments come from? Awkward moments come from a time when we all like agreeing upon something telepathically, but none of us is coming out and saying it. So it's like an awkward feeling because we feel that we all agreeing with a certain situation or that we all peeping out a certain situation, but none of us speaking on it. And that's one of them things. It's like, bruh, it's all a fucking game, and nobody want to speak on it and be that raw about it. Because in essence, it is kind of like it could be something that could make somebody feel depressed to know, like, damn, my existence is just fucking, in essence, feel like just bullshit. Like I'm just here, just playing with myself. In essence, I mean, to a certain extent, that's what the situation is. So, at the bottom line of a lot of this, and that's where the balance come in at too, because you gotta know, again, knowing that my existence is just me being God, like being bored and God creating a situation for myself, but then still finding the vibe to have purpose in this, in this physical, again, the shaman vibe. You gotta remain sane, like in the fact of knowing the deep truth of the existence of everything, but while still being able to, exist in your, like, to still feel like, you have some type of purpose in the physical, or still feel like, I don't know, just it's just like being to that connection to the all, and still having that vibe of like a purpose, like to go walk the dog and brush my teeth, and you know what clothes I'm gonna wear today. You know that's if you wanna say like that's the superpower of the shaman, or the strength of, and when I say the shaman, anybody who's in that connection with source, that's the power, that's the ability to know and be connected to that that train of consciousness, that that aspect of knowing that, it's that all, and that this is all just some game because God is bored, but then at the same time knowing that, and still having the energy, and that drive to still exist on the physical plane, and still feel you have a purpose, again, still have that Sanskrit. That's as above, so below. What God is doing. Like God is being, feminine, masculine, light, dark. It's being the part that's being called evil. It's being the part that's being called good. It's being the part that is non-physical and non-definable, but at the same time being the part that's definable. You know what I'm saying? It's being all that. You have to have some type of sanity. Some type of, and that's why this format of the way we have things exists, because it's the best way for, source to have the most sanity within itself, you know what I'm saying, if that makes sense, for things to go smoothly. So the reason why things are the way they are is because this is just the best way, that it could be done, in essence. you know we done been through the stages of, oh, well, let us try this. Let's try these type of beings. Let's try water as oxygen. Let's try an atmosphere where it's just lightning strikes all the time. Let's try this type of atmosphere. Let's try existence where we live in underground. Let's try existence where we living in the air. Like, like all, we done been through the motions. And been through the motions of all these different things. Yeah, like it's all. You want to know what the real world at, or you want to know what your true existence is in that sense. Again, but it is part of your existence because it's not the whole. But close your eyes, and that's where you at. That's where you with at all times. The person you see when you close your eyes. And again, that's that shaman vibe. Like that's why sometimes too, why I'm cold towards the, like, oh, let's feed the children, let's feed the homeless, let's do this, let's do that. You know, is integrating that balance, because I got that vibe of knowing, like, man, that's just matrix game stuff. Like of course you want to be compassionate uh as a being, because again, if I am everything, I want to be compassionate with myself. So, and if the things outside of me is a personification of what's inside me, I want to be compassionate towards, those aspects of what's inside of me. So of course I want to show compassion, but it's just sometimes I come to and a little bit is a part of also dealing with that Capricorn energy as well. We kind of have somewhat of a coldness type of vibe, but that's what sometimes my coldness come from is that higher knowledge of that that is all a game, and again that that's what some people again why you see some people that we consider called crazy, or it seems like they just don't have a grounding in this. Is it That's all of what crazy is just lacking to ground all this information. Same thing with schizophrenia is having that channel open, like the channel of the ancestors and just of different beings is just really really open, but you haven't grounded that connection and and stop all the voices from just coming in all at once or just bombarding you. You gotta ground that vibe, you know what I'm saying? Like grounding that chaos, like that's the whole vibe. Yeah. Right, right. Yeah, but that's basically it on expanding on that point. I just again I feel the vibe that, like, and that's how too, like, your soul purpose in essence, like something that resonates with you strongly, and then you see that nobody else is talking about it, like nobody else is dealing with this information or dealing with this certain type of science or whatever the case may be, but you resonate with it heavily and deeply, and just from vibing with it, you can kind of tell that you know you, you got a lot of information to expand on the subject or whatever the case may be. Then that's your sole purpose in essence. Like, my sole purpose is to touch on the points that nobody else, like my purpose is to be that energy that's just in between, that's just source, that neutral spot, like, you know, uh too neutral for the negative, too neutral for the positive, too neutral for the, you know, like, again, back to the point of why, I say stuff that'll make black people look at me some kind of way. I say some shit that'll make white people look at me some kind of way. You know, that's God. That's what God is, And I just like that's my purpose, is to expand on truly being source. Not, well, I'm gonna be uh and of course we're gonna be sourced through the aspect of our physical being to a certain extent, but like, I'm not here to be a black person, a white person, a Asian person, this person, because another thing too, you go far back, we just all just beings. Again, you go past earth, then we're in the stars. So are you really African or Australian or this or that, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, back to that point, like, that God space. That God space is it's a neutral spot. It's a place of just wanting to see growth in general, just wanting to see expansion soulfully in general, and that's through enlightenment. Just general. It's not about like just in like certain aspects. It's just the wholeness of the situation. You know, and I caught the vibe too. What some people may wonder, like, with the vibe of, like, all right, well, why, with the if it's no black or white, then why with the melanated people, or why something points toward God's people, or God's people is just the people who realize their connection, and what the melanated people have to do with that is just that, you know, the carbon or the melanin within the bodysuits allow for a closer connection to those unseen vibrations, quote unquote unseen vibrations. So, you know, from the outside looking in, if you want to label something as God's people, then, you know, then that's why some people would probably throw that label onto the situation. You know, it's because, all right, these people are embodiment of the most eldest or ancient aspect of source. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's not like again, no one better than the other, you know, vibe. But I also say, don't get it twisted though. It's dealing with this physical matrix. It is about uh, liberating the oppression of melanated people, because that's the task at hand. You know, it just seems like all across the world, people have a problem with melanated people. You know, like, so that's just one of the things as well. I'm sorry, I'm late to get into some of y'all stuff. Let's see. Yep, that video on agents explained everything. Yeah, I'm grateful. I'm glad it you know, it really you know, made it through. All right, and some of y'all, some questions y'all is just things that I may not have intuitively in me to expand on, or it may take too much. As a matter of fact, my battery power is at 14%, so I'm soon about to start closing it out. Bro, look, I'm gonna stay away from calling out names, but Team Marshall, I'm gonna just say, you know, you funny for calling somebody out in the chat for saying a certain situation. Hey. Oh man, dog. That's funny. Oh yeah, bro. And I'm just to that, because now I'm not biting my tongue. So just, you know, but expanding on the going to the moon for real or not, you know. To each his own though. Some people might feel there's evidence that support going to the moon or whatever the case may be. You know, I digress. Yep, matter of fact, crazy people is a personification of God without grounding. Like that matter of fact, in all honesty, you could almost say crazy people to a certain extent is a personification of the primordial part of God, like that chaotic part of God before it could actually ground, you know, how can I say, ground these aspects into something, you know, more physical and more, I don't know, something that you could operate with in essence. You know, because if everything, you know, how you grow from chaos, just, you know, everything being everywhere, it's gonna, you know, it's gonna be a certain level of just of nothing really being able to happen, because again, it's just chaos without no logic. But then if things is too logical, you know, then you boxing in things too much, and you're not expanding, you're not tapping into your God self, you know, on the or to the you know, to that feminine aspect of creation, you know. So again, it's just a balance. That's what people don't realize too. Like again, the vibe of like being on one side of things. Now, of course, again, I see that different people have their different little purposes, but but it's different though. Of course, when people just being in their purpose and they know their purpose, but when a person tries to say they're sharing like the aspect of source, like the truthful aspect of source and the wholeness of it, but then they vying for a certain position. It's like, nah, you're not speaking for the wholeness of the situation if you're trying to position on one side of the spectrum. You know, source is the whole. Oh, it's 11:11. Dang, it's 11:11. I got 11% left on my on my phone. So yeah, that's probably a sign. With a matter of fact, and shout out to I forgot who sent me that super chat donation earlier for $11. So that's pretty cool. Got the $11 donation, 11%, 11:11. We on pernt. We on pernt. Yeah. Yeah, man. Thank y'all for chiming in. You know, thanks for the for the participation, the connection, and thanks for the love and support as always, man. I appreciate y'all. Goes without. Well, I ain't gonna say it goes without saying, but I definitely like to speak on it. Oh yeah, the shadow people. Matter of fact, right now the veil, not only as you expand yourself and open up your pineal gland yourself, but just in general, you know, the shadow people is definitely, coming into play. As far, I mean, and not say shadow people, but seeing like beings from the different realms, and that's what it'll be sometimes. Out the corner of the eye, you see a figure, like you're like, damn, I felt like somebody was standing over there, or somebody was standing in the corner over there. Like I felt like somebody walked across somewhere in the corner of my eye, as shadow beings, uh, you know, ghosts in the essence of like certain beings in that little that little purgatory vibe, because that do exist. Like some people's spirit, and I got videos that speak to that, so I won't expand on it too much. But like, say for instance, if a soul get into a car wreck, somebody get into a car wreck and they get knocked out of their body so fast that they don't even realize that they're actually transitioned. Kind of to the like how Bruce Willis on The Sixth Sense. You know, matter of fact, that's how I felt. Like, matter of fact, with my DMT trip where I had my dad, like that's what that felt like. Like I felt like, damn, like bro, I don't like, I might be on the fucking other side. Like, how could I make sure that I'm not on the other side right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on here? Cause I feel that vibe is real. Like you could definitely be like on some shit like where you'd be a ghost or some type of, like where your soul fragment didn't really fully ascend or go on, and you be stuck thinking like you still on Earth and you really dead on some shit. Like that realm really do exist. When I say dead, you really didn't transition, out of the physical. But oh damn. The numbers, 44 likes, 44 people in the chat. Shout out to the synchronicity. Yeah, I'm about to peace out. Let me see if I got a few little ones I could answer right quick. Let me just try to going backwards a little bit. Let's see. How do you think we choose our parents? Well, I don't get what, because you may be about a deeper aspect of it, but I mean, it's just as simple as us, choosing, choosing beings or choosing a situation that's gonna that's gonna set in place the situations that we want to, the contrast and the non-contrast that we want for us to grow. So basically, picking the parents that's going to have us in a situation that's going to have the beneficial energies and the energies that are contrasting but still beneficial in essence because you learn from them. But we choose, you know, the situations based on that, like what kind of, you know, what we want, what type of life situations we want to go through to teach us, you know, to learn us something, you know. And that's one of my main things. I'm glad you said that. That's pretty cool that I caught that, and I guess higher self want me to see that, to know to stay on that track, but like expressing myself without pointing the fingers at others, like, you know, because I realized to each his own, like, you know, no matter what, even if somebody came at me maliciously, like I know that it's a pain inside their heart that they dealing with. Like it's not really, you know, even though they may be trying to talk down and two, being on such a high level where if somebody was talking down on me, only talking down on this egotist on this bodysuit, you know I'm more than this bodysuit that some people know is called Ray or universal frequency. So, you know, it's no reason to again carry myself from a God space. If everything outside of me is me and I am God, then how could I fuss with myself, you know? Matter of fact, that's back to what we call crazy people, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck you doing? You see the crazy people. I mean, in essence, that's that same situation, you know. And it's a balance though of just living in any way that you see fit because we could all see each other's lifestyles as crazy in essence, you know, like just like how somebody could see my lifestyle as insane, somebody could see somebody that goes to a 9 to 5 lifestyle as insane, or somebody could see somebody that's considered a crazy person life is insane. Like, you know, it's all a perception with that for the most part too anyway, you know, again. But finishing off. That's it. Or to speak to is a game, but it feels like we ain't controlling it. It feels like we're not controlling it our because whenever we feel like we're out of control of things, it's because we're looking mostly solely from our human aspect, you know, and forgetting like we are co-creating. So of course, you know, they got some things that you are putting out there, but you know, there's other things going on around you as well. But for the most part, our free will came before we came in the body, you know, in essence. Like it was more so, you know, strongly felt, like, you know, how you say you feel like you have less control. You know, we had more of the quote unquote control. And it's a balance, like logic and feel like it's some control, some chaos, you know. And it's a balance because, too, again, back to that God vibe, you got to know that you are in control of things and not in control of things at the same time. That can make a motherfucker go crazy, you know. Where I tell somebody, hey, you know, you are a vessel, you know, that energy, you know, moves through you, you know, but then at the same time tell you, you know, but sit down and have affirmations and visualize this and, you know, make this, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the paradox that, you know, once you start to grow on a higher level, you got to learn how. Matter of fact, that's what spiritual growth or spiritual maturity is, learning how to deal with the paradox of God, like point blank period in essence. Like just learning how to deal with the fact that source, our existence is a big ass paradox, you know, like point blank period. And if you can't deal with that, then that's why you're gonna be like, well, nah, why this gotta happen? Why this shit evil? Why this shit nice? Because you're not understanding the paradox. Then you don't, you know, you're choosing not to, you know, overstand it or understand it in essence. So, you know, So you'll forever be questioning things and being confused because you don't want to realize that's a paradox. You know, just be on that. Uh, Again, just not wanting to grasp the trueness of the situation. Yeah, and that's a and matter of fact, to Maria Curtis, and that's a balanced aspect. You know, we being neutral, and you're not supporting one quote unquote race, but at the same time, that's where the chess game come in, because some people want you to be so neutral or so like, oh yeah, I love everybody, that you just ignore the you know the how can I say, you ignore the unjust situations that's going on within the the matrix dealing with. And that's why I don't use the word race anyway, though, with a certain color of people. A certain color of people is getting you know getting oppressed on a high level. And so just on a vibe of like, so that just comes with compassion. Like, that ain't even saying like, all right, I just want to help melanated people. It's just like, nah, as a compassionate being, fuck, I see that fucking racist white people giving melanated people the fucking blues on this planet. So as a compassionate being, I'm gonna just help those beings you know that's dealing with that energy. And that when I say help too, that's help as far as like again helping somebody be knowledgeable of self. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about actually like, well, let me go picket sign march and let me go give these people some food or something like that. No, it's like actually helping people expand to know that they are God. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the true thing. Is like, not like actually like like, no, teach that person that the universe exists within them. You know what I'm saying? Teach that person that you know it's more to existence than just being. It's like helping people to expand, on a spiritual level, and not just on no human. Let's just help these humans, or help, because again too, it's not our job to save people in the essence of like, yeah, let me hands on and go save, like cause that's another thing that some melanated people don't want to realize, that you gotta also save yourself though. You can't be sitting around waiting for Jesus, or waiting for you know somebody to start marching, which that was fake and staged. But like Martin Luther King, like waiting for somebody to say, like, no, it starts right now with saving yourself, with being knowledgeable of self yourself. Like, like, go and take the time to go find out your roots and ancestors. Because another thing too, uh of course, we are vibrating human experience, but in order to get back into your spiritual, vibes, you gotta realize what, like what you were dealing with, while on earth. Like, what's your roots of being on earth? You know what I'm saying? The root chakra, the roots, like, start from the root, your childhood, what's the root of your situation, your beginning, you know. And from there you continuously grow, you find out more about yourself. But I'm about to go, y'all. That's about it. Peace and blessings. Thank y'all for the love and support. All donations is greatly appreciated. Uh, Thank y'all for the again, and don't forget to, like, if y'all find some of the videos interesting, or you resonate with them, share these videos with friends, family, anybody that you feel that could benefit from the video, and of course, something that you would resonate with and feel that others would resonate with. You know what I'm saying? Because I know some of my videos don't resonate with the mass. Again, back to that, being in a certain space. You know what I'm saying? That that everybody may not resonate with as a human. But definitely, man, blessings to y'all. Appreciate everything. Halim, Elijah, Divinely Feminine, Miss Mello, Maria Hurtis, blessings, y'all. Bayou, Yama, Chloe. I don't know, it's spelled another language. Matter of fact, I seen you on my Instagram for a time. I don't know how to say it. Prometha Kid, Sweet Coat, Jessica 1S, Jericho Knight, blessings, Stay Jamming, Stray Panther, Natalie, Josu, Darko the Tall, Be Free, blessings, y'all, blessings. I don't want to have, just a thankful of shout outs, but of course, man, thank y'all for the love and support. I hope I covered as much as ground as I could, but I gotta go to make sure this video processed and all that good stuff. But just leaving on a note of just knowing, God is everything, God is everything, and God is more than the word God. That's derived from some German word, Gott or something like that, but source, the fullness of everything, like the wholeness of our existence. That's what we are. So if we're trying to tap into, being source, tapping into that vibe, And again, on that note, we're all different. Some of us are meant to really display that vibration, of source on such a high level. It is different on how we express the source within, you know what I'm saying? Like for me, I'm here to express it on a level that's just showing people how source is that, like everything, what I'm saying, in essence, and where it doesn't really have no picks and chooses, and anybody who, who choosing to be on one side of the situation is more so sticking to a polarity, but and let me show you how deep this situation is. They choosing to stick polarity instead of source as a whole, but still indirectly, because source is everything, because even within that pole that they're trying to stick to, like they're trying to be way over here with the yin energy or way over here with the yang energy, it's still all God nonetheless still. So that's just that. Again, it's being okay with the fact that God is a big ass paradox. Like, you gotta come to grips with that. But but blessings, y'all. Peace. Happy now. Miles to vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now. Peace. All right. Time to stop this thing. Gotta see how to